Okay, let's take a look at the Kokirrak Dreadnaught. So we've got some basic things set up for it. I'm going to save its ID. Dreadnaught. Put a name on there. Right, so that gives us a starting details, 200,000 tons. Right, so we have a reinforced hull. So we have a modular hull as well, but I don't have a thing for that. So I think the way I did this previously was with just a piece of hardware. So we want radiation shielding. So technically radiation shielding goes on the armor, but it's easier. It was easier to implement just by sticking it on the hull like that. So docs, what do I want? Items, right? Armor, bonded super dense. How much do we have? We have 15. So, and again, you can follow along at home by looking at the Kokirrak Dreadnaught in High Guard. That gives us 24,000 tons and a cost of 12 billion credits. Let's stick the bridge on for now. Bridge, 80 tons, 1,000 credits, and yep, actually that is a command bridge. So we want a drive, we want an M drive, we want a J drive, we want fuel tanks. Let's do the fuel tanks first, they're nice and easy. 83,600. J4. 16. Oh, wow. 16 weeks of operations, a long time. I think that's the first one I've come across, which is more than 8 weeks. J drive is jump 4. And we've got size reduction ×2, so that's probably 2 levels, very advanced. Size reduction. So that's a cost of 37.5, 0.375, and 16,004 tons. Okay, M drive, thrust 6. Kaboom. Right. Power plant. Power, probably fusion 15. Yep. And we set the total power up here. This is 880,000. So 18 billion and 9,000 tons. And bridge also has holographic controls. Now, I calculate holographic controls based on including the tonnage of the command bridge. So my costs come out slightly differently to what are in the book. So I've got 1287.5 and 1280 is the so we have a look there, we can see combined bridge is 1280, so it might have come out as a little bit more expensive. Actually, I'm going to makes it a little bit easier. Right, okay, holographic controls. I need to double check on that and what's intended. I think the book, I'm assuming the book's right, and I just need to update my rules, even though the book way of doing it seems a bit odd because it implies the command bridge doesn't have holographic control since you're not paying for them on there. But anyway, computers. We need a 90. So that's a core. Oh, 120. 13. 25. I'm looking at the cost. I'm being stupid. 90 and 120. I'll update the text. And we want another one, which is core. And that's going to be 80. Which costs 75. I'm going to make that inactive. Right. I'm making it inactive because it's a backup. Sensors. I put that under bridges. What are we? Advanced? Advanced. Sensors advanced. Cool. Right, sensors advanced. We have 2 of them. We're going to have distributed arrays. Of course. So that's going to be 10.6 because distributed arrays triple the values of the sensors. 12, but even though we've got 2 advanced sensors, it looks like we've only got 1 set of distributed arrays. Signal processing enhanced. Then military countermeasure suite. Countermeasure suite military. Okay. So if we just force an update of this, 20, 10.6, 10.6, 8, and 20, yeah, and 28. Okay, that's looking good so far. What else do we want? Weapons. I'm going to skip weapons. Ammunition. I'll come back to weapons, but weapons are the complicated bit, especially on this particular vessel, which has lots of long range and intense focus and everything else, which is a bit of a pain. Storage, 12,000 missiles. So I'm just doing this as a basic generic item. It's not anything special. I will give it a ammo, but we don't automatically track that these are actually extra missiles, so that has to be done by hand. Ammo, I assume this is Sandcaster canisters. Canister storage, 6,000 canisters. 300. I don't need to set these to fixed, but it makes it slightly easier. Oh, black globe. Do we have a black globe? We don't have a black globe generator. We do have meson screens. Let's no, because that's the docks I'm looking at. That's why. So we don't have black. We do have meson screen and nuclear dampers. We have those as well. How many do we want? We want 9 nuclear dampers. and we want 8 mise-en screens, and we want some hardware. We'll make it general. Defense, mise-en screen, black globe. So 50. Cost is what, 100. Now I need to look up what the rules are on a actually the Atlantic. Let's have a look at the Atlantic heavy cruiser. Apparently yeah. Okay, what was that? Colonial cruiser. Okay, colonial hardware. Do we have a black globe generator? Actually, that could do with updating. Then no power cost. So previous. Sorry, I'm just looking. Through these to find the details on the black globe generator. Black globe generators, 30 points of power. Okay, 30 power. Icons, black globe. Do you actually have one? Rather simple. Black globe and I'll put some text on here. Now, the effect of a black globe, now normally that's a dice rating, and you make a skill check. So black globes work slightly differently. So, but I'll just stick 0 on there. So we've got a black globe. Actually, I'm going to copy that into my items so we can reuse it. Where's that gone? Open mounts. There we go. Right. Yeah, so I don't have support yet for mise-en screens and dampers. I mean, you can specify they have an effect of 2d6. I need to implement the fact that when they get attacked by a nuclear weapon, that will reduce the damage by that amount times the skill effect. But I've implemented just enough so I can specify these bits of hardware on the ships. Docking spaces. Yeah, so let's look for a docking space. Docking space. This is going to be for 40 tons. So set the rating to 40. That sets the tonnage to that. How many have we got? We've got 4 of those, which are, oh no, well, we do as it happens. And we've got 50 tons as well, which is for the modular cutters. And we've got some 30 tonners. How many 30 tonners have we got? We've got 2 of those. So I need ships. We've got modular cutters. We've got, what was it, pinnaces and ship's boats. We've got 4 of those. So these are just placeholders for the cost. 47.72, which is correct. Ship's boat, we have 2 of those, so that should be, looks right, 15.16. And pinnace, we've got 4 of those, 38.72. Okay, so yeah, so that's just tracking the cost. They don't do anything. And you can't add items. Well, yeah, I don't like to add. I could drag ships from the small craft from Highguard onto these, but then they're linking back to the Highguard versions, and if you drag the ship out, you will have, and then you edit those ships, you'll be editing the ones in the packs, not other ones. So yeah, I just keep them as placeholders. It works slightly better. Armory, 59. 14.75. Yep. Briefing rooms. Yeah, armory seems to be just one big amorphous thing. Things like briefing rooms seem to be individual things. So we set the quantity for briefing rooms, and we just set the tonnage for armory. Fuel processor. Fuel processor. We do want fuel scoop. Are we standard hull? Just double check that. Standard hull. So fuel scoops will cost 1 million. Just a rounding error in ships of this size. Fuel processor. 25.000. Yep. Tons a day. That's an awful lot. Right. We want medical bays. We have 13 of them. Bang. Doesn't always pick up the Dragon drop. I'm not sure why. I think it depends on which thing gets the event. Repair drones. Yep, so that should be 2,000 tons 400. 2,000 tons 400. Yeah, so I'm just comparing it against what's in Highguard. How many workshops do we have? 6. Staterooms. So we have 3 high staterooms and many standards. 900. That's an awful lot, so that should be 450 and 2.4. Then we've got common areas and we've got cargo. Cargo is 3267. Common area is 905, so that'll be 90.5 on the cost. Then we've got module storage, which we'll do as a general thing. Module. Hardware, there we go. Modular hull. I'll stick that in as that's 5800, and it has a cost of 290. Okay. And let's go look at the computer. So, software. We have advanced fire control. We have anti-hijack. We have auto repair 2. We have battle systems 1. Broad spectrum EW. Electronic warfare 1. Evade 1. Jump control 4. Then intellect, library, and maneuver. Maneuver. Right. Jump control. That's actually 0 if you've got a computer call. Everything else, I'm just going to, as you can see, it doesn't, when the software is first added, it's disabled. It's not running, so that sets it to running. It'd be nice if you could set it to running directly on here and click on those. I think that has been asked for by someone, and it's a good idea. I should do it. Right. So what have we got? Total cost 122 billion. Sure. Okay, but it's 132, so we're about 10 billion short, but that will be because we haven't added any weapons. So weapon mount. So we've got a spinal mount. We've got small bays. We have small missile bays, and we have small fusion bays. We have triple turrets for beam. We have single turrets. Quite rare for these ships to have single turrets, and point defense weapons. What do we have in point defense? We have type 3. And we have, wow, 20 of them. Yes. So spinal mounts, I'm going to set the cost to 13,000, tonnage to 30,000, So it's easier to set it on the mount itself. So just drinking some tea there. Right, so we need to add in our actual weapons. We've got small bay weapons. So we have a missile small bay. We have fusion small bay. And then we've got turret weapons. We've got particle beams. We've got sandcasters. We've got beam lasers. Okay, missile bays should be normal. Fusion bays are normal. Particle beam. So what have we got on the particle beam? We've got intense focus particle beam. Intense focus means AP2. And I think that's a double thing. And that increases it by 25%. Actually, I keep that lowercase just so it fits in. Beam lasers. What have we got? Beam lasers. Long range. Okay, so that's going to be up to 12 because that's 2 levels. It's 25%. 625. Sandcasters are going to be normal. Everything else is no. The elephant in the room, spinal weapons, meson, spinal mount. So it's TL15, so that's 3 levels. So minus 30% on size. 7,500 tons, 15,000. Ooh. 37,500 times 0.7. Okay. We'll have to look up the rules. Meson. Medium bay weapons, no, spinal weapons, minus 20%. 37,500 times 0.8, 30,000. Okay, so that's 5 times normal, so that's 5,000 power. 30d6. Maybe that should be 30 double D, but I'm sorry, 3 double D, but cost is already calculated. Power. Okay. Yeah, AP 999. It's basically infinite AP, but you can't really handle infinities in there, so 999 should be enough AP for anyone, really. That is a sick amount of damage. I mean, Max 14666. That's, I mean, what is 30d6 damage? 103. So that's 103,000. About half of that. I suppose the mise on screens will cancel most of that. But yeah, that's a lot of damage. My problem with the spinal mount weapons is that they seem to do a bit too much damage, especially on the smaller ships. They just seem to vaporize anything of that. At least in the Deep Night campaign, its spinal mount weapon just fries anything it hits, which seems a little bit overpowered, but there you go. Okay, so now we need to add these weapons to things. So we can call this a small. Don't need to do that anymore. We can do that. How many missile bays have we got? We've got 50. I'm going to type rather than use the bumpers. That's going to be fusion bays, which are also 50. Point defense, point defense, we got 20. We did that one. Single turret, particle beam. Wow, 330. This is a lot. Sandcaster. No, this is triple turret. Yep, 200. And actually, I should add that we've got 3 sandcasters on each turret. And I'm missing a turret. I had a sneaking suspicion I might be. These are going to be the beam lasers. And for beam lasers, we've got 300. Okay, I am impressed. The tonnage has come out exactly right. That doesn't happen often, especially on a ship of this size. I doubt very much the cost will come out 139, 132, 384, 139, 893. So, yay, the costs are wrong. So now it becomes figure out why the costs are wrong. So right down here, um, 90.5, 450 and 2.4 for those, they're correct. Software costs, we've got a 1, a 15, a 14, an 18, a 10, an 8, and a 15. Advanced fire control 2. Advanced fire control. So I'm just looking up in my other copy of. So 2 is cost of 15, not a cost of 12. So either that should be advanced fire control 1, or it should be a cost of 15. I'm going to assume that's. I'm going to assume it's fire control 2. We know sensors are correct. Computer 95. 120. Bridge, we know is slightly out. Power plant 18. That's 37.5. Yeah, that looks good. 24 billion, 12 billion. The radiation shielding's up here. Reinforced 7,500. Cost 10. 15. Why do we have a cost of 10? It's a standard hull. So let's see. I generally find it useful to have multiple copies of HighGuard open. Let's see. So standard hull, no modifiers, reinforced. Now let's go to so 50. That should be a nice round 10, 0.05. Yep, that's 50,000. So that should be 10,000. I know what's wrong. I do know what's wrong. Yeah, you see, I'm calculating reinforced hull twice. That was actually a bug fix I made yesterday, I think. So it was calculating it for, because it wasn't calculating light hull. So I need to look into see why. Yeah, so light hull, it's not calculating the cost at all. So that should be a negative cost. And reinforced hull, it's calculating it twice. Okay, so that's easy. This is 7,500. So that's 132. 132. So that's the. Let's bring my calculator back because I can't do maths in my head like that. 139, 893, 225. Okay. Minus 7,500. Minus 7,500. 132,384. So I'm getting the. I should be. Let's look at the. That should be 1,280. So it's minus 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 8, 4. So there's one minus 3 because of the 8, 2. So I'm actually missing 2 billion. Yeah, that extra minus 3 was because I'm charging 15 million rather than 12 million there. So I've got 2 million. I need to find an extra, well, I need to raise the cost by 2 million. So armory 14.75, briefing rooms 5, docking spaces 6. 16.5, docking space 44, and docking space 55. Fuel processor 62.5. Yeah, so this must be really fun for everyone to listen to. I've completely lost track. Fuel script 1 million, fuel process 62.5. There we go. Medical bay 26, repair drones 400, workshops 5.4, ship's boat 15.16, pinasses 38.7. Pinasses 38.72. Modular cutters 47.72. Okay, so there might be an issue here. What have we got? Black. So that's mise en spinal mount 13,000. Il Mino in alphabetical order. Small missile bay 600. Then 400 for the small fusion bays. Then triple turrets, long range beam 862.5. Sandcastles 350. Single turrets 1716. Point defense 400. Nuclear damper 90. Mise en screen 160 and 100 for the Black Globe. So everything matches. So am I missing anything? 15, 1. So there seems to be an extra 2 floating around somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. I2.4. Okay, well, it's close enough for government work for now. So what we need to do now is add in the crew. Ship roles, crew, captain, pilots times 3. Yep, we have the pilots times 3 in there. Small craft crew. I'm assuming, get rid of all those, just make that pilot small craft. 10 of them. 1 single astrogator, hopes he doesn't go off sick. Engineer. 349 of those. Maintenance. 142. Really? Yep, that's a lot. 12 medics. Gunners 724. Oh. 724. Spinal mount. Yeah. I knew. Weapon. Single turret. Particle. Add. Weapon. One of these bays is going to be, yeah, that's why. Fusion bay, beam turret. What's we got on the turret sides? I think. Yeah. I don't know which one's which, so I will guess. And I will put zeros in here. And I will let's finish what we started. Officers 132 and Sensops 25. 25. Okay. Hardware, small missile bay. I knew there was a reason I named these last time. Triple point defense laser battery. Nope. Triple sandcaster turret. Triple beam turret. And when we go through to gunner here, fusion bay, small fusion bay, and triple beam turret. Single turret. Yep. Okay. There we go. We got the crew. We got the cross. We got weapons 15,870, 15,450 according to. Okay, I'll need to possibly fiddle with these to work out the power costs, and I need to fix that hull type and then try and figure out why I'm off very slightly on the weapon cost. But yeah, so there's a Kokirrak Dreadnaught. Takes a while to get these done. They're a bit fiddly, somewhat annoying, but all the bits are in there, and I think it's sort of close enough. Once you start adding crew, you can start making attacks and things. I would like to have a second sheet for handling big ships, probably showing the sort of mass combat sheet, which is in high guard, in order to simplify things. But for now, yeah, they're a bit complicated for having ship-to-ship battles, really. But there you go. That's a Dreadnought, and it's now in Foundry.